Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm gonna cannot speak. Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm gonna be doing the 2022 May International SAT, and I did the first three passages a couple days ago, and I was not in the best condition. It turns out I was actually really sleep deprived, so I crashed really hard later that day, and that led to some so when I was taking the test, I was a little overconfident on some questions. I had pretty low self-awareness, and so I got two wrong in the first three passages. I realized though that I was feeling not very alert, and I was pretty tired, so I stopped the stream after three passages. Turned out I got two wrong. Hopefully I'll be able to do a little better today. So I'll be finishing off the two passages remaining, which is history and science. So we'll see if I can recover from my -2 and maybe just keep it at -2 today. All right, so that's the status update. I'll just do a very, very condensed version of my strategy recap. Strategy recap, the two primary differences in the way that I take the test is I read the passage first and I take my sweet time. I'm very slow compared to many of you guys when I read the passage. But during this time, what I'm doing, I'm not just zoning out, I'm mapping the passage. I'm trying to identify what ideas come out on which parts of the passage. And I'm creating a sort of internally cohesive structure so that I know where to look if I need to look at the passage for the questions. The second big difference in my strategy is when I go into the questions, I do not emphasize process elimination. I'm not just going to go straight to A and start eliminating words based on tricks or tips or whatever. Primarily what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the prompt. I'm looking at the passage. I'm looking at the question stem. I don't know why I'm using the wrong word. I look at the question stem and I try to connect it back to the passage. If I can do it from memory, I just do it from memory. If I don't have the ability to just recall it straight from memory, then I look at the part of the passage that it's referring to based on my map of the passage. So those are the primary differences in the way that I take the test, and you'll see how well that works for me if you just watch. All right, that's the strategy recap, and now I'm going to get into passage number 4. I've already spent 34 minutes, so I technically only have 31 minutes and 5 seconds left. All right, so that's my technical time limit. So that means, yes, that's correct. I was just making sure that I was not miscalculating something. So I have 31 minutes left. All right, let me start time. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. (1928) Hoover. Tumor. An American Letter in 1993, so way later. A Speech versus a Letter. A Successful Campaign for President. Toomer was a novelist and poet during the... Oh, right, that's who Toomer was. Yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Hard to predict, really, what the difference is going to be. Okay, so that's 30 seconds there. Progress and Prosperity. Policies of government. Okay, maybe we're going to be against the policies of government in passage 2. The intricate web of economic and social life. Okay, the government has become much bigger by this point. Republican Party in the last 7 years. Unparalleled progress. Prosperity is a job, safety, safeguard, business, home. So we're being Republican, by the way. Okay, we're going to talk about the vast business machinery we're talking about the economy. walk in order freedom in the independent conduct of the walk in order freedom in the independent. Oh, so they can do their jobs freely. Spreading the wealth, safeguarding their homes, and giving to their children. And everyone can seek a fuller life. I think this is connected to the first one. Some may ask where ale this may lend beyond mere material. This is a typo. Where all this may lend. Okay. Lead. That's also a typo. It leads to a release of the energies of men and women from the dull drudgery of life. Okay, that's 240. The direction we have taken since World War II, which is hopeless, because we're talking about larger government, I assume. Business as a game. Okay. Sport. But there are many who think it's dirty game. They can quit. Not valuing the business. Who hates a thing. Oh, so basically the direction is more and more business. These people who know they are not profiting by it, these business people, we're being too business oriented. Bernard Shaw is pointing at business profiteer. It has a proper spirit, but it cannot be governing. We have some literature, but we have lots of business. We have some art. We have lots of physicians, dentists. Everything is a business. Everything is a business. The majority appear to wish justice. Whew! Wish another word. We're talking about the military-industrial complex now. Wow. We're being a little sarcastic and very bitter about this prosperity here. And I'm going to switch over. All right. Here is my map of the passage. Okay, map of the passage. Beacon, welcome, and sounds like you're doing pretty solid. And I'm glad that I could help. Glad you're making progress, and I'm glad you're growing. All right, so here I'm going to be doing my map of the passage. There's 2 columns and like a third column with like the end of a paragraph. Okay. First column, Hoover, 1920s. Something, pumping up the Republican Party in the first paragraph. Don't fully remember, but basically, the Republican Party has been doing really, really well. Something like that. First paragraph. Now we're in the middle top of the left column, second paragraph, and says something about we need to continue the policies of the Republican Party, and we need to expand. Doesn't say so much about business, but basically, like, we need to. The first principle, the first priority of everything is the economy, of the proper functioning of like business in our lives, because nothing, all the arts, all of the everything that is not business cannot flourish without business. That is, now we're definitely in the middle of the left column, and that is the end of that second paragraph. Then after that, third paragraph, it talks about like steadfast security. it talks about something that sounds like a continuation of the first reason, but I don't fully understand the transition there because it's like a different idea, kind of, all right? But like it's also kind of the same idea, and I can't really differentiate it. So the third paragraph is like a further reinforcement of the second paragraph, but I don't know how it's different really, and I can't remember at least. Maybe I did know at the moment, but I forgot. Fourth and final paragraph starts at the bottom of the left column and bleeds over into the top of the second column. Fourth paragraph talks about something prosperity. Man, I don't remember. I do not remember. Okay, so I literally do not remember. Okay, I just cannot remember for the love of God. Okay, so I'm going to move on to second column, second passage, top of the second passage after Hoover's speech ends. The first paragraph mentions the direction that Hoover took the country, and Toomer says that his opinion is based on the testimony of those who appear to be profiting from this direction. And he says that even these people who are profiting from like the businessification, right, of America, they are unhappy. They behave as if they don't really value the thing. They behave as if they hate the thing, this business thing that's taken over America. The second paragraph, which starts in the middle of the right column, says something about like how the business is dominating all areas of life and it's extending its domination. And I think this actually directly leads to the third paragraph, maybe. I don't know if it's a new paragraph or not anymore, but basically getting down to the middle bottom side of the second column, we talk about how there is some writing, or there's some publishing, but mainly it's publishing business. There's some art, but mainly it's art business. There is some medicine, but mainly it's just medicine business. It's like whatever we do in America, it's always really just the business of it. I feel like I am missing some ideas in between the beginning and the middle of this passage, but that's, yeah, I am missing, I'm skipping some ideas, but the gist is America being businessified is not good. Now, after that sort of list, that rhetorical little flourish, we're basically at the bottom of the second column, and at this point, it's like he mentions Bernard Shaw, I think. Oh, yeah, this is actually before the list. Earlier, mentions Bernard Shaw about how business has its own proper place, but then it's dominating, something like that. There's like a little transition there. And then besides that, just thinking, yeah, I actually literally do not remember now. At the bottom of that second column and going over to the top of the third column, there's a conclusion about how we are all doing this for prosperity. And it talks about basically the war machine, the military industrial complex, where people don't really support war, or people are supporting war. Like the majority of people seem to like this businessification, but actually at the same time, majority of people also seem to like war, and we need to keep doing war to support this business. And this is in the 1990s, so this must be like the Bush, the former Bush era. So yeah, there's a bit of that cynical criticism of like the expenditures based on war really just being self-serving, something like that. Yeah. So that is my map of the passage. Sam, what's up? If I could give myself a grade for that map of the passage, I would give myself a B minus or C plus. I'm trying to decide. I did miss a lot of detail. I missed a lot of detail. But I don't feel like it was bad. But I did miss. Did I miss a couple main transitions? I did, especially on the first column. I'm gonna give myself a C plus, mainly because I was like missing a whole chunk of the first passage. All right, so that's a C plus map of the passage. Hopefully, you guys have when you guys read it once, you guys have a better memory of the structure of the passage than I did. Okay. So that was my map of the passage after 4 minutes and 40 seconds reading. I'm now going to get into the questions. Here we go. What the heck? There we go. Why is it switching out? That's so annoying. Anyway, here we go. 3. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll just do guided access. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Idle most nearly means prosperity is no like meaningless, empty. Yes, empty. 5 minutes. That's 20 seconds for me. Based on passage 1, Hoover would agree that if he were defeated in 1928, one likely outcome would be like poverty. Hang on, that's a little too strong. Is necessary for the progress and the prosperity, jobs and safeguard for businesses and homes, not corruption, not luxuries, not range of not grow, prosperity, economy. 5:30. That took me 30 seconds. Here we go. Not grow. I think that's 10 to 13. I feel like pretty confident. I'm just gonna double check. 10 to 13. Yeah, I don't see a better 1 through 5. Let's see 1 through 5. I'm just gonna do process elimination. Maybe because I'm just like lacking confidence since I made mistakes on the first 3 passages. Yeah, these are all reasoning, so it's not really helpful. Yeah. Honestly, I got it right away, but probably I did it in 5:30, 5:40 probably. But then I had to do that double check. Which choice from passage 2 best supports the idea that Toomer recognizes his views may be unpopular? That's the bottom, the majority. I don't even need to really double check, but I will double check. Yeah, that's 6:30. I think that took me 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Toomer would likely favor a political candidate who aims to. Hang on. He would favor someone who is not against business, who's breaking up enterprises with profits, limit the influence of business interests. I think that's correct. Yep. I'm just double checking the other ones. Incentives for businesses, expansion of size. Okay, so that's 6:55. Let's keep going. And line 67 assumes most nearly means, assumes, but that, when it assumes, when it takes on, when it undertakes, when it supposes, hang on. Okay, supposes, hang on, why is this feeling awkward for me? When it takes on, undertakes. Yeah, undertakes. Why am I, what happened here? I don't know what happened. Why did I hesitate on that? Something happened, and I'm not sure why. Am I confusing it with a different word? The tone of Toomer's remark in line 91 is best described as. Okay, line 91, Toomer. At all cost, oh, sarcastic. Very, yeah, scorn. Profit is a little awkward, but all of these words have profit. Resolve. I don't know if he believes that his views are misunderstood as too strong. He disdains it. That is correct. Misunderstood. Okay, so that's 8:15. How long did that take me? That took me 45 seconds. relationship between the passages. Passage 2 sort of criticizes passage 1. Okay, so passage 1 supports a continuation of pattern. Yeah, that's correct. So that's 8:30. That took 15 seconds. Moving on. Based on passage 2, Toomer would challenge the claim in 3739. Okay, 3739 about hope. Let me just double check this. Mere material. Okay, that's good. So this is like kind of an address, at least from the dull drudgery of life to wider vision, brighter hope. It gives them, wow, that completely different. We challenged it by saying it's not, it doesn't give hope. It actually harms hope. It actually makes people, it feels dirty, up until 55, people don't like it. Hopelessness, public, opposition, retirement, no, opposition, artists, no, anxiety regarding the inner, no, what the heck? Retirement? Did we talk about retirement here? Because that's the one that seems... Oh, impatient with it when they quit. Oh, I see. 44, 45. I just did not... Yeah. That's kind of funny, honestly. I sort of just didn't see that. So that's 54, 45. Yeah, that's 950. And assumption made in passage 1 about a flourishing business. A flourishing... Oh, the flourishing business environment is the thing that enables everyone to good, beneficial to the cultural life. Yeah, to all art and stuff. 10, 20. That is a no-look answer. I did not need to look for that. Okay. Did I only have one no-look answer on that one? Is that for real? All right, well, let's just move on. Next passage. Schmidt's ecology, Anthropocene. Give me a second. I want to know how to pronounce this word. I'm going to pass. I'm going to pause on this. Anthropocene. Anthropocene. Where's the mayor? Okay. Anthropocene. Anthropocene. It's kind of ugly sounding. But I guess Anthropocene is also pretty ugly. Anthropocene. All right. Repeat after me. Anthropocene. All right. Joshua, that is such a smart comment and so flattering. The only one who does these tests without hindsight bias. That is exactly what I do. And thank you for capturing the essence of it so well. I'm really glad that I could be helpful to you, man. And yeah, high praise. Also, Harvey, what's up? And Sam, what do you do when you face passages? So obviously, Sam, there is one different type of bias, which is I actually don't find most passages as hard to comprehend as probably you do, just because I'm a very, very, very developed reader, even though I'm not the best science reader. So if you really want to see how I face passages that are hard to comprehend, you should watch me do some science passages, especially from a year ago. Okay, because at that time I was just like, fuck, I do not remember biology at all. What is a what is an algae? Or no, not what is algae. What are some of these words? Yeah, there are these things that I was just struggling on. Are these related? I was struggling on some basic science concepts. But that is not an easy question to answer. And also it is a little general. I want to finish this test first. So I want to focus on this test. So all I'll say for now is don't zone out and always be moving. Okay? And if that means just skipping it, then just skip it. Skip that part of the passage that you don't understand. Oh, I guess one other tip is put a question mark. Write a question mark next to the parts that you don't understand, because that is actually taking action. Whereas if you just sort of like zone out, that's not taking action at all. All right, that's just general. I'm going to move on. Okay, I'm going to focus on this passage. Anthropocene. And Anthropocene. 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 Okay, got it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Polis, GP. One more comment, guys. I'm gonna fucking miss annotating. On the digital SAT, it's such a bitch trying to annotate anything. Oh my god. I'm gonna miss just being able to write initials on the side. God, it's so beautiful paper, or like fake paper, like this iPad, like this PDF. I mean, I'm gonna miss it so much. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Studied how food webs. Okay, we're talking about food webs. We're talking about ecology. We're talking about food webs. We're regulated. Okay, questioning the notion that they're not self-contained. He says, when the facts from his research on the did not conform. Oceanic island ecosystems are sharply separated from each other and from the mainland. Okay, so islands and mainlands. Hang on, I need to circle these. By large distances, by a seemingly impermeable saltwater barrier. However, wait, what is low primary productivity? Insects were rare. Primary must be vegetation, right? Islands nevertheless support extraordinarily high spider predators, and more so on the smaller islands, which didn't make sense in line with the larger and intact mainland ecosystem should be able to support longer food chains. That's kind of interesting. So this is a confounding finding. They're not self-contained, self-supporting entities. And the flow, what flows across this boundary, the size of the island and what flows across this boundary. What is the boundary of an island, by the way? Is that just the what is that? Instead of constantly within the flow of nutrients and materials across, within versus across, okay? This led to the discovery that the boundary of the island, the shore, okay, that's the boundary, is not impermeable. Algae and carcasses washed up onto the shore from oceanic drift. There's subsidies, interesting, but why do smaller islands benefit? High abundances of detritivorous. I assume this means they eat detritus, they eat garbage or carcass. Yeah, consume the algae and the carcass. There we go. Abundant resource that sustain the spiders and scorpions. The smaller, because of their physical properties, because they have a higher ratio, hilarious. So they have more shoreline, so basic physics, right? This is actually kind of cool. This is I think I was actually hypothesizing this. I was actually predicting this before. I didn't verbalize it, but I was actually thinking this. This allows consumers from all over the island to access the subsidy but if you live in a larger island, you're very far. Yeah. Like when you live in the suburbs, you have to go to like a Walmart. You can't just walk to a bodega. So the heterogeneous spatial arrangements of species and resources across the island. Wait, another classical view that resources are homogeneous arranged in space? I mean, that sounds ridiculously simple. But where's the previous classical view? Where's the previous classical view? I don't remember why does it say another? That's actually really annoying. I don't know where what is he referring to? I guess that's the two. All right. Right now I'm at 1420. I'm just going to mark that just because I feel like I'm spending extra time on this. The abnormally high abundance of predators led to a feedback in which the abundant predator trophic level can control the abundance of the herbivorous. Okay. So then obviously they got rid of the insects. Wait, lessens the insect damage to plants? I thought they had low primary productivity. What the hell is primary productivity? I don't know what that means. Okay. I guess that's connected to more plants? I'm confused. Two very different kinds of ecosystems can be research flows across. The donor, I'm assuming this is the mainland, and the recipient ecosystems. For example, if marine production, I still don't know what production means, is altered by environmental impacts or from species imbalances in the marine food chain due to overfishing, then the amount of algae and carcasses subsidized become altered too. Ooh, I do not know what production means in this context. Wow, what the hell? Okay, how long did that take me? That took me 5 minutes and 30 seconds so far. Spiders per cubic meter of cactus and length of insects. Length of insects per trap per day. What trap? What kind of trap are we talking about? I don't remember traps. Do we have traps earlier? Okay, but anyway, more spiders, longer insects. Oh, spider traps. Jesus, okay. So they're very small on the mainland. I mean, that's the main thing, right? They just get bigger either way. But 1635. Oh my God, another one. Okay. Spiders per square meter and length of insects per trap day in shoreland and inland areas. Hang on, let me see the difference here. In Baja California area, and here the difference is in shoreland and inland ideas of Baja California islands. Islands, okay. Shoreland versus inland. Okay, I see. I probably spent too much time going back and forth. I probably would not have really done that on test because I could have just figured it out over here. Oh well. Oh well. Shoreland, mucho, very mucho. Look at this huge ass difference. Huge difference. Okay, that one I actually do remember from the passage. That's 1730. Now that I actually spent a whole minute and 40 seconds on those two graphs, and I'm gonna stop. Whew. So actually, Sam, you were asking me what do I do when I face a passage that is hard to comprehend. Well, hey, you were in luck because I just found a passage that I found hard to comprehend. So, let me ignore the really bad joke and continue with my map of the passage. Map of the passage. Here we go. Looking at, okay, so there's two columns and two charts. First chart, or first column. There is this team. This dude's name is like GB or BG or something. I forgot his name altogether. But he was all triggered because like he couldn't get a girlfriend, so he went on YouTube and started trolling people. It's okay, bruh. But this scientist was triggered because he he had this idea that the ecosystems, even if they're separated, they still influence each other, and then so that's the very top, very top, okay, of the left column. Now, still at the top of the left column, it starts talking about these islands in Baja California, of how there's a bunch of islands and they're supposed to be these self-contained ecosystems, but actually, they kind of affect each other, and they also affect the mainland, and they're all sort of in this sort of complex web of interactions. Also, the word food web comes out all the way at the beginning, and I don't remember how to connect that. Now, we're in the middle top of the left column where he says something about where we talk about the actual research that they discovered. Maybe this is the middle, honestly, at this point. I'm kind of fuzzy. Where they discovered that actually they're not self-contained. They're not self-contained. And what they did was they looked at the flows. They looked at the flows not around just the boundary or something, but across the islands or something like that. Like not within, but across, right? It's within versus across. That was the whole setup. Then shit. And then in the middle, they discovered that carcasses and detritus, algae and carcasses would like show up on like, not the small islands, but they would just show up on these islands, and then the insects would eat them or something. And I'm now forgetting. Okay, I no longer remember. At the bottom now, I'm going to skip over the middle of the left column because I don't remember the left column that well. The bottom of the left column, though, we finally get why the small islands get more insects, and they have lots and lots and lots of. No. You know what the problem is? I'm actually not clarifying the trophic levels. Actually, I don't even know what animals we're talking about. There's like plants, but there's insects, and then there's something else above them. And I completely forgot the number of species that we're talking about. So my map of the passage is actually kind of messed up right now. But there are these things that eat the detritivores or whatever, that eat this stuff, and they get fat and they get big and whatever. The spiders, I guess, I don't know, maybe. But there's lots of them, and then they eat all the insects. So there's not a lot of insects, but then there's like more plants or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, a whole chain of things is happening. Don't really remember. But anyway, on the smaller island, it's even more pronounced. Why? Because lower surface area to like perimeter ratio. Okay, so and plus top right now, we're in the second column, plus the ones in the middle of the larger islands, they have to travel farther to get it. Whew, something like that. Anyway, that's what I remember. And then middle of the right column says a bunch of stuff I seriously do not remember at all anymore. I forgot. My map of the car passage is not very good. And then so now I no longer really remember what came out where. It's just all sort of like messed up in my head. Then now I'm looking at the first graph, which comes out at the very bottom of the right column, and it says something about spiders being big and insects being big on smaller islands and very tiny on mainland. And then on the second graph, on the second chart or table, it talks about how stuff are really, really big on the shoreline and really, really small in the inland. Whew. So that is my map of the passage. My map of the passage, if I had to grade my map of the passage based on just what I just recited right now, I would say that is definitely not in the B territory. That's definitely C or D. I'm thinking, is it D? But I don't think it's as bad as a D. I still got the main logic, so it's definitely not D. My main logic is there. It's I would say it's a C or C minus. C or C minus. Because I skipped so many parts, I just say I got a C minus. Yeah. Because I kind of forgot the sequence of what comes out where. So that's kind of the whole point of the map of passage. So yeah, C minus. But at least I got the main ideas, yeah? So that's my map of the passage. I'm gonna go back into the questions, but there's a bunch of, can I, let me just quickly reply to whatever's there. Mapping done while reading or after? I mean, the literal mapping, the mental effort of mapping should be done during the test. Like you're actually, during the reading, while you're reading it, you're sort of like sequencing it in your head, okay? So you might have noticed when I was reading it, like when I came down to this part, I was like, oh yeah, I was wondering about this part, right? I said that out loud because And so then when I actually did my map of the passage for you after the reading, you know, you could, I definitely remember this part, right? And the reason I definitely remember this part was because I was actively trying to figure out where this would come out. So the intellectual effort of mapping is supposed to be happening during the reading. But do you mean the verbalizing? Like verbalizing is something you do as a self-diagnostic, and you can't do it. Like it's ridiculous. That's like practically impossible to do it while you're reading. Because how do you map a passage you haven't read? So the verbalizing, not the intellectual effort, but like the verbalizing of being like, I want to test how well I remember this passage, right? That verbal quiz that you give yourself, that is only after the passage. So those are two different activities. Okay, one is actually happening in your head in real time. The other is just a confirmation. It's a diagnostic. So those are different purposes there. Okay, on the real test, you're obviously not going to give yourself a diagnostic. You don't. On the real test, you're not going to be reading the thing and then being like, hang on, teacher, please, proctor, please stop the clock. I just want to double check how much I remember the passage. You know, you're not going to do that on the real test. So it's purely a diagnostic tool. So please understand that that it's actually the verbalizing aspect of this is just for you to be able to compare to me, right? I do the verbalizing not because it helps me with the test. I do the verbalizing. In fact, if anything, sometimes verbalizing makes me overconfident that I remember the passage and stuff. Like the map of the passage doesn't actually help me that much, if at all, taking the test. It actually makes me more tired. You know, I only do it on these streams because I want you guys to have a point of comparison that like you know exactly what's in my head. Yeah, it's exhausting doing the map of the passage actually. Like the verbalizing the map of the passage is super exhausting. So you shouldn't really be doing it as a habit. Okay, so that is my map of the passage. It's a C-. I'm gonna move on and finish off this test. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Main purpose of the passage is to show how a scientist discovers that a previously held classical idea of ecosystems is wrong. Despite findings, resolve a debate. Nope, not resolve a debate. That was almost close. Hang on, what's going on with my pen? Resolve a debate. Explain the leading. Nope, it's going to seemingly. There we go. Okay. That's what I was looking for. It was just worded differently from the way that I was looking for it, and that is a no-look answer, by the way. So it took me a while because it was worded a little differently than I was expecting. In the first paragraph, it mentions the climate of the Baja California Islands and the main plant there. I don't remember this actually. My map is pretty garbage. Where's the climate? 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 Oh, arid. Oh, arid and cacti had low, not a lot of vegetation. I see. So, in order to explain their dependence on the subsidy. So actually how they have been affected is kind of awkward, but could be affected would make sense. Contrast, no. Exactly. This C sounds about correct, but I need to double check because I actually just didn't understand this idea very well. Nevertheless, this didn't make sense. Okay, yeah, that's correct. So I'm at 1930. How long did that take me? That took me about 1 minute and 30 seconds. God damn it, that's too long. Based on passage, policy results would have been more consistent with prevailing ecological study if you found that. GP. Wait, GP. Policy results would have been more consistent with the prevailing ecological. If you had found that the number of predatory spiders increased with the size of the ecosystem. That's correct. Not the mainland. We're talking about the islands only in that one. Just gonna do some quick process elimination. Whatever supported the greatest number. No, that makes no sense. Length of the did not vary. Okay, that makes no sense. So that's 20, 20, and that is a no-look answer. Okay, line 51 challenged. 51 challenged. That challenged another view. That contradicted another. That called into question. Called into question another view. 2035. That took me 15 seconds. Here we go. Making good time. Based on the passage, a decline in the abundance of predatory spiders in the bag. A decline in the abundance of the spiders would lead to an increase in the plant damage, increase in insects, which would increase in plant damage. That is correct. I remember that from the passage. That is a no-look answer. And then I'll do the line reference. And it should be over here from what I remember. Nope. My map of the passage is honestly garbage. I literally do not remember where it is. Where is it? Jesus. Where the fuck is it? Dude, I have the worst map of the passage. This is so embarrassingly... Okay, no, this is correct. 5860. Oh, I actually looked at the correct place. I just didn't see it correctly. 5860, that is correct. That is 2131. 2130. By the way, guys, you might have noticed I do these paired questions literally the opposite order of most of you guys. I literally do it the opposite order of most of you guys. Most of you guys are looking at the second question first. And then you're not even looking at the question, you're just looking at A, B, C, D. It's like the worst, the complete opposite. Line 38, sustain the predatory spiders and scorpions. Sustained, nourished, you can't survive them. That would mean a totally different thing. Prolong, you can't prolong this, you're nourishing. Okay, 2205, here we go. That only took me 35 seconds because I was talking too much. Which choice provides a likely explanation for the difference in data? The difference collected from the small islands and the large islands. Consistent with the information found in the passage. Because the small islands have like the perimeter and then the whatnots. More detritus washes. No, not the total amount. The total amount, no, not the total. Not just more relative access to detritus. There we go. 2245. Okay, that is top right. So 46 to 49 works, but the better one is 42 to 46. 42, so 42 to 46. Perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. 2305. And now, according to table 2, what's the number of spiders per square meter, in the shoreline? Shoreline is the one I'm looking for. So, number of spiders, shoreline, 0.155. Shoreline, okay. That is 2330. And then I'm moving on, finally 52. Table 2 supports a claim about the islands, about the inland and the shoreline. Small island, no, not about small. Unevenly arranged. Actually, that's not what I was predicting, which is why it took me a while to find it. But that is exactly a different idea that was also mentioned in the passage. Okay, so that is 2355. Wow, holy crap. The final 2 passages only took me 24 minutes, and I'm very confident on those answers. So that actually means I had 31 minutes. So I'm actually 7 minutes left over. I'm 7 minutes left over, and I could just go back and kind of dick around. That said, I had a pretty terrible showing on the first 3 passages because I gave my excuses at the beginning of this stream. I'll not repeat them. But yeah, those last 2 passages were actually hard to understand, but I did pretty well. I think that is indicative of like how important it is to be in a good condition, like a good physical and mental condition when you're taking a practice test and when you're taking a real test. Because I was definitely way more like energetic and way more alert on this stream than I was on the first 3 passages. So huge difference there. All right, well that's it for the test. I'm gonna go and double check the answers for these 2 passages. Let me just see if there's any interesting questions that I can quickly answer. Yeah, reading essays and books. Everyone recommends reading, but I mean, because it's like accurate. Like it will improve your reading. It's just not precise. It's like not quite the problem that everyone's having. All right, let me go and pull up the answers. I'll go pull up the answers. What was this? May 2022? International 2022 May International. By the way, guys, just another reminder that this particular PDF has a bunch of like typos, and it's just like really low quality QAS reproduction. So just be aware that when you take this test, there's going to be a bunch of typos, and yeah, you just have to kind of deal with them. All right, here we go. Questions 31 to 41. 31 to... I guess I could just get rid of this timer, by the way. My shortcuts are not working. Timer, go away. Timer, go away. Okay, there. Just manually have to do that. Okay, so question 31, here we go. Question 31, I chose ADB are correct. And then I chose DDA correct, cool. And then I chose BCB are correct. And then I chose BA are correct. That's 11 out of 11. Oops. Then here I chose BCAD. What number was this? Question 42. BCAD are correct. And then BAA, I chose BAA, okay. And then DC, cool. And then I chose BB, cool. That's 11 out of 11. So I got 50 out of 52. Let me just double check. I got 10 out of 10 here. I got 9 out of 10 here. And I got 9 out of 10 here. Yeah. All right, 50 out of 52. And I did all the review for the 2 errors that I made on the previous test in the previous stream. So if you want to get my explanations for that, about like my justifications for why I got those wrong. If you want to hear all my excuses, you can hear them in the previous stream. Thanks for watching, and hope this helps. Looks like there's no other questions, so I'll just say, guys, I'll see you guys in the next stream. I'm gonna go to the gym and get some pump some metal, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. Until then, keep on learning, keep on growing. Peace out, guys.